You're listening to the Angry Marks Podcast Network.
Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. My name is Arya Whitmer, and this is your post-NXT TakeOver NXT audio update for Wednesday, May 24, 2017. If I had to sum up this week's NXT into one sentence, it's the same sentence I use after pretty much every post-TakeOver NXT. Skip this show, go watch TakeOver. Did you already see TakeOver? Go watch it again. Did you not watch TakeOver? Go watch TakeOver. With that out of the way, welcome back after you watched TakeOver. It's now time for the NXT report, where we talk about a lot of TakeOver. 52 minutes, probably 30 of them talking about TakeOver. So we start this week with Aleister Black taking on Curt Hawkins. We're magically still in Chicago. It's almost as if they taped this week's show before TakeOver or something. Something crazy like that. So Curt Hawkins is here to make a start at Black for the second time, because 2 weeks ago on WWE Main Event, a show, by the way, watched even less than NXT Redemption, Black defeated Hawkins in a match. Percy Watson on commentary seemed to forget the storyline where he was accused of sneak attacking everyone at NXT Redemption, including Percy Watson, ironically enough, but it was abandoned before it came out that Hawkins and Tyler Rex did it. So anyway, this remembrance of a 5-year-old angle almost lasted longer than the match itself. Black was over coming out and got more over with his skill and athleticism. And he broke out a beautiful acai moonsault before winning with the Black Mass. And actually, Hawkins got a bit more offense than your normal Black opponent of the week would. Let's just cut out the thing here and just say that they did a recap of every match at TakeOver. Did a couple interviews. None of them were anything groundbreaking. The doctors, by the way, have refused to release the medical condition of Johnny Gargano. Ember Moon is sad because she didn't get to wrestle in Chicago, where she got one of her biggest career breaks. And Bobby Roode is not appearing on NXT until he takes a long break. Now, right after being told that he was taking a long break, we're told he's going to be on NXT next week. So I guess that long break is only about 7 days. So if we take away all the video packages because, I don't need to recap those again. By the way, one last thing. Kayla Braxton said that Roderick Strong was the first person to pin Eric Young. I know I'm nitpicking here. I know she meant that since he started Sanity. I know she only meant NXT, but he lost to Samoa Joe on NXT last year when Eric Young did his surprise debut. With that said, Velveteen Dream is out. This, if you recall, is Patrick Clark of Tough Enough fame. And let's just say that the match was only slightly better than the reports of it said it was. We pretended like we haven't seen him half a dozen times already, which, they've done for several of the people in the past, but it's always annoying even then. His opponent, by the way, was Robert Anthony. His theme music, by the way, was less catchy than the song that played during the commercial for his appearances. And the big negative for him is he needs to either stop punching or he needs to do what The Rock did and practice punching by throwing 1,000 punches a day at his mirror. And that's not a lie. Well, I don't know if it's a lie, but The Rock said he did it in his book, which, was about half true and half BS. But, if you're going to believe that it was part of the true part, that's how The Rock improved his punching, by throwing 1,000 punches a day at his mirror. And whether or not it's true, I truly believe that Patrick Clark needs to do that or stop punching. Nothing in the middle. So anyway, Velveteen Dream, his punches, like I said, they reminded me of the worst of women's division punches from 5 years ago. They were that bad. And then he won with a Rick Rude neck breaker. And the best move he did the whole match was a top rope elbow drop. And I guess, if you're going to do one move really well, it might as well be your finish. Main event time. Yes, because once you take out the 5 billion video packages, the show doesn't have a whole lot of anything going for it tonight. Drew McIntyre versus former NXT Tag Team Champion Wesley Blake. Blake, as you might recall, used to team with Buddy Murphy. They were managed by Alexa Bliss. Alexa Bliss is now on Raw. She's won both the SmackDown and the Raw women's titles, while Wesley Blake and Buddy Murphy are still stuck in WWE Developmental. Blake was last seen as Blonde Beautiful Blake, but he's dropped whatever the hell that was supposed to be, and he has a new country music theme song. In fact, he's pretty much a cowboy, just without the cowboy hat, but I'm sure that's coming soon. So this was a back and forth bout that was actually decent enough that, if it was the main event on a normal NXT, you wouldn't complain. Except the fact, it's Wesley Blake, of all people. But anyway, the match started with Blake backing McIntyre into the corner and gloating about this advantage, so Drew kicked him right in the face. They mentioned that Drew won the WWE Tag Team titles in Chicago, but for obvious reasons, didn't mention that his partner was Cody Rhodes. Anyway, Blake took over using the double wrist lock, but Drew just picked up Blake and carried him across the ring and placed him on the top rope, and Blake, feeling embarrassed, broke out a Hurricanrana that turned into a cross arm breaker, but Drew was able to get the ropes. McIntyre hit the sky-high powerbomb, which got a big pop from the crowd, and to the point, it was such a great move that when Blake kicked out, most of them forgot to do that annoying sweet thing when they counted two. Blake threw Drew into the post shoulder first and locked on the crossface. Drew got out of that, hit a reverse Alabama slam, and then threw him off the top rope, hit a stiff headbutt, and then hitting the stick kick for the win. So it was a decent little main event on NXT. Again, the show was nothing special, nothing to go out of your way to go see. Again, go watch TakeOver. You won't be disappointed, and you'll get that really awesome Pete Dunne Tyler Bate match. So until next week, where we're back at Full Sail, thank you for listening, and I'll talk to you again in 7 days.
You're listening to the Angry Marks Podcast Network.